Hello there everybody, Gmon here, and welcome back to some more Pokemon Platinum. In the last episode, we went back to Stark Mountain to check out how things were after Team Galactic messed with it, and we found out that a legendary Pokemon named Heatran had shown itself there. After a bit of a scuffle, we managed to capture it, and now it is one of our friends, the prisoners, depending how you see morality in the PC box. But anyways, that's besides the point. Where was I? And today on our agenda, we are going to keep on going on with this exploring areas we've been to previously, agenda, train, I don't know what you want to call it. Because we are going to be going to a familiar place. And for what we're going to be doing today, we want to go to a familiar place we've been to before, known as Celestic Town. It's been a while since we've been here, and not much has changed by the look of things. However, we want to talk to the people here. I'm running out of lyrics, so I'm gonna stop now. But yeah, we want to talk to the people here. Well, hello, you look good. I did some research of my own since that spot of trouble last time. Now, Cornet's acting up had me very concerned too. That's what I found in the shrine. It's a book, and it's quite old. Let me read a bit for you. The bearer of the shining adamant orb summons Dialga to the Spear Pillar. The guard Pokemon of time will answer the call. The bearer of the shining lustrous orb summons Palkia to the Spear Pillar. That Pokemon that binds the spatial dimensions will answer the call. It seems that people have long ago met both Dialga and Palkia, the Pokemon of time and space. Interesting. Where are you from? Don't tell me you say. It's not close to Lake Verity. The lake is said to have home to host the Mesprit, a buggy of emotion. The Pokemon may be watching over you. Does I know more about Mesprit? No offense, old man, but I have it in my PC box. We're very accustomed to each other. Well, of course you wouldn't. It's held from so long ago, so when you weren't interested. No offense. I was interested. I was so interested I went to go catch the thing, but besides the point. And if I'm not mistaken, you have to talk to not only her, but also we should go check out the ruins while we're here too. Maybe something's changed. Go down over here, check out the shrine. See if anything different in here. Not somebody here, Cyrus is here after all. So who knows? Maybe something else has changed here. Oh, hello there, familiar face. It's cave painting. It's always been described this way. The line in the center represents either Dialga or Palkia appearing at the Spear Pillar. The three lights around it were thought to be Yuxi, Mesprit, and Azelf. May I continue? Of course. But then I realized that there were maybe another way of interpreting this. Could a triangle of lights actually represent a different trio? Could it be Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina instead? The large light at the center, does it represent something else? Could it be created this world of ours? Make it through for a bit longer? Absolutely. If you listen to my theory. You know the ancient plates they find all over Sinnoh? One of them had this engraved on it. Two beings of time and space set free from the original one. I think this quote 2 points to the presence of another Pokemon. A Pokemon even more powerful than Dialga or Palkia. Does that sound plausible to you? I'm not quite sure how Giratina fits into the scheme of things, but it said in the Sorcerer World, neither time nor space were stable. And it tells us something about Giratina, the only Pokemon there. It must have been as powerful as Dialga or Palkia, the rules of time and space. In some way, though, Giratina has to have a power opposite of theirs. I'm sorry this is so long, but may I say one last bit? Of course, stop asking, dear, I'm listening. A long time ago, I wonder what sort of person painted this. Dialga's roar of time, Palkia's spatial rend. To people back then, these Pokemon really must have appeared to rule over time and space. Sinnoh must have shaken the Pokemon people to their very core. This ring represents those feelings of awe, wonder, and everything else. It's passed that memory to countless people, eventually becoming a myth. That's what I believe as a researcher of myths. I think I let myself get carried away and talk for far too long. I'm sorry, and thank you. Let's meet again. Anytime, Cynthia, anytime. I will say, I don't think Gen 4 is perfect. I've had my problems with it in the past, especially the Vanilla Diamond and Pearl. A lot of my problems with it were like alleviated with Pokemon Platinum. But I will always say, the lore of the Sinnoh region has always been pretty cool. But what if I told you that these myths and whatnot don't only have to remain as myths? What if I told you with the actions that we have taken today, we've unlocked the ability to meet legends? 'Cause that's what we're gonna be doing today, baby. Step 1 of the news, however, we need to go back to another familiar place we've been to before, Mount Cornet, because you, as you may have heard just with the myth just now, Spirit Pillar is pretty important for this whole thing. And how do we get there? From Mount Cornet, of course. However, before we do that, I am going to make a quick stop over here at the Pokemon League. You may be wondering why the Pokemon League. This has nothing to do with what we're actually going to be doing today, except for preparing, because I want to make sure we are loaded, because we just caught Heatran, and I had to spend a lot of resources to do such a thing. So we're going to be going out of our way to stock up, and this is one of the best stores for doing such a thing. Because this thing has a lot of variety. Now we're going to Ultra Balls, so I'm not going to worry about Ultra Balls. However, when it comes to our special Pokeballs, this is probably the most convenient place to load them in the entire game, because they basically have everything you could ever need. So I'm going to bring, like, 30 Dust Balls. I'm going to bring some Timer Balls with us, because, you know, when you're on a mission like ours, it might take a while. And you know what? I got the money to spare, and this is pretty important. I'll buy another 10 of each. Never hurts to become extra prepared, especially when it comes to, you know, myths and whatnot. Always pays to be ready. And I'm not sure how many repels I have left over, but I think I have a good amount, right? 20? I'll stock up on like 5 more. It's probably fine, but just to be safe, you know, wild Pokemon and all that jazz. You know, you don't want to be stuck looking around for them. There we go. Get filled up on repels, and with that being said, our prep work is now complete. If you remember, however, when it comes to Mount Cornet, you're going to be needing a lot of HMs to get through it, so make sure you're prepared in that regard too, because we have to go basically back to Spirit Pillar, which, as you remember, was quite the hike. Fly on right over here, and once again with the do-do-do-do-do-do. Kind of fun how we just met Siffy over at Celestia Town, and this is where we first met her on our original come through of this place. And on the way here, a very familiar looking statue at this point. It has turned into the city's Pokemon statue. There seems to have been a descriptive plate, but it appears it was torn off. We don't know for sure who did it, but part of me has to think it was Cyrus, since we saw him around here, and, you know, he kind of didn't really like the whole Sinnoh region, so... No definitive proof on that, but it's a working theory. Call it a game theory, if you will. Being said, though, there's a down there I haven't picked up this entire time. And a trainer I'd never fought. Are you freaking bro? You're gonna have like level 15 Pokemon. I'm the champion of the entire region. Are you sure you want to do this? Lewis, your Geodudes? Yeah, you're level 14. I'll show you what a rock ground type looks like, baby. I'm gonna quake the earth. Listen here, Lewis. You're a good guy. I'm sure you are. You're just taking a nice little break out here. You're just chilling outside the mountain you love climbing so much. But you do not know what you're signing up for, man. You should have just walked away when you had the chance. But now, I had to destroy you to set an example for all your fellow hikers around here. You do not mess with the champion. The undisputed champion at that. Of, like, this region. You know, there's, like, multiple regions, there's multiple champions, but, like, shush. Let this be a lesson to all you hikers. Stay away from me, or Big Burfo shall let loose its power. Or something like that. Anyways, Mount Cornet. Back on schedule. And if you remember, there's multiple entrances to Mount Cornet that you can go through here. However, it's all one big connected dungeon. So if you travel enough, you can actually get to any part of Mount Cornet just by going through one single entrance. That said, though, some of them will take longer than others, but you know. Something to keep in mind. That said, though, we're gonna go over this way. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me. I think I actually want to enter from a different point, because this point is not terrible to enter from, but I think I actually want to enter. Yeah, from the one down here would probably be a better pick, because it's gonna be a lot faster this way. Because we could go down from this way if we go down from downwards from where we are now, but I think it might be better to come this way. And also, more importantly, Pachirisu. Very cute. It's been a while since we've been in Heart Home City, actually. Oh, we can't stay for long. We have a grand quest to embark on. Okay, we are back. We are now where we should be. We have to climb up over this way. Okay, climb up Mount Cornet. If you remember correctly, going up, not going this way. So you're gonna need your Surf HMs, you're gonna need your Climbing HMs, you're gonna need a lot. And especially make sure you have Waterfall. You didn't have Waterfall the first time you came through here, but trust me, you're gonna need it. So make sure you have it this time. Because we need to find the Adamant and Lester's Orb for this myth to become true, and we do not have those quite yet. However, we've been pretty close to where we need to go for a while now to actually pick them up. This way, go over here. It's a little bit of a maze over here, but it's not too bad to get through if you remember correctly. And there's still the broken doorway. Now, when you come over next to this next area here, we're gonna climb up here. And I think we wanna, we wanna keep going straight. We wanna keep on going. Repels are wearing off, but it's fine. Pop one of these. Keep on running. It's a bit of a hike to get here, but you know, it wouldn't be an adventure if it weren't some effort to it. Get back to one of my favorite songs of the entire game, Mount Cornet area up here. And we're gonna be wanting to look for a cave entrance with a waterfall. I think it's this one if I remember correctly, but it's been a little bit. It sure is. Alright, so now, there's a waterfall here. We've seen this before, however, before we couldn't do anything about it because we didn't have waterfall. But now, with the power of our new HMs, we most certainly can do something. A new cave entrance, and more importantly, a rock with the stone plate in it. The original one breathed alone before the universe came. Interesting, but more importantly, the Adamant Orb, tucked away in this mountain this entire time, and also, very conveniently next to it, the Lester's Orb. Whoever put these here must have been very generous, considering how important these things are. But with that being said, we got ourselves the orbs, and now, according to the myth, there might be something waiting for us on the top of Spear Pillar. So without further ado, I'm gonna cut away till we climb to the top of this mountain. I'm not gonna watch me. I'm not gonna make you watch me go through all of this again, since you know it's quite a hike. And I will be right back when we're near Spear Pillar. And we are back. A nice little hike with some really cool music along the way, and we've made it back to near the top of Spear Pillar. Been a while since we've been here. The last time we were here, the world almost ended. However, now things are a little different. That's new. What could it be? Well, if we follow the myths, there's only a few things it could be, couldn't it? That being said, before we go in, as usual, make sure your team's prepared, save your game, because you get one shot at this, so don't blow it. And honestly, I'm a little scared for this one, but I think I'm gonna lead with Gyarados, and we're gonna see what can happen, because, yeah, it'll make more sense when we actually get into this thing. So with that being said, I'm gonna save my game, and embrace ourselves to face a legend. And apparently I'm saving a lot of data, because, it was just that important of a hike. It was that important to pick up all these items. You know, Cynthia's lecture was that powerful that it made the game have to take a long time to save that we've seen it before. Whenever you're ready, step forward. On your side of the rift, there's a fantastically bizarre place. It's Yoga! Will you challenge Yoga? We've come this far. Let's do it. Go, 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 ba, ba, ba. Meet the god of time itself, the Yoga, coming in at a whopping level 70. Steel Dragon type with some phenomenal stats and more importantly, a phenomenal battle theme. I love the Yoga and Palkia's theme a lot, and it's a shame you have to wait this long to hear it because, you know, these guys are, you know, the main legendary of Diamond and Pearl, so you would have fought them during the main story of that game and applied them their saves to the post game. That being said, though, not complaining, because my god, this battle theme freaking rules, and you're going to hear a lot of it during this, because, yeah, level 70. These legendaries are scary. Ichiro's kind of a baby compared to this thing. This thing's pretty nasty. That being said, Dialga being a Steel Dragon type, phenomenal stats, high attack stat, high special attack stat, great bulk, overall just amazing stats all in all. It is a legendary Pokemon after all. More importantly though, Steel Dragon typing. Very good typing indeed. It makes it only weak to fighting and ground. Very good typing. One of the best types in the game, if you ask me. And this thing got the stats booted up, so this thing is not a pushover whatsoever. That being said, though, it is level 70, so I'm gonna try and hit it with some moves and hopefully not destroy it. But then again, I have a Life Orb Gyarados, so, you know, that does a lot of damage to it. So I can't hit it with that thing again. However, I can hit it with some waterfalls to do some damage. And here, oh god, okay, this is a signature move. Roar of Time, one of the most badass moves, names of all time. Let's see what it did there. 150 power special dragon move. It's essentially dragon type hyper beam that hits like an absolute freight train. The good news is that he can only use it once and then he has to recharge because it is a clone of hyper beam. But it's still an insanely powerful move you have to be careful of. And honestly, I don't really know how I want to hit this thing. I'm actually going to go into Alice here. Maybe I get lucky and get a freeze. You never know. Also, I'm going to shut up here for a second for the music. Freaking amazing battle theme. I love this battle theme so much. That said, though, I'm gonna try and chip it down a little more with Ice Shard. Try and get as low as possible. That's probably as low as we're gonna get it without KOing it. Alright, that being said, though, now that we're at low HP, unfortunately, I think when I'm battling this thing, it counts as daytime. As you can see, the sky is, you know, lit up, so I don't think my Dust Ball's actually be that good here. So I guess we're just gonna open up an Ultra Ball and hope the guy works out. I guess I should hope to Dialga, in this case. You know, God of Time and all that jazz. I have waited so long to hear this battle theme in this game, man. I love this battle theme. Oh my god, the second Pokeball! Wow! Cool? I was definitely ready for the long haul like what happened with Heatran, but I'll gladly take this. I'm gonna have to recheck my, I'm gonna recheck the freaking info I have, because I thought Dialga was like a normal catcher legendary Pokemon, but maybe it's actually higher, because I vaguely remember some legendary Pokemon being higher catcher, but I didn't think it was Dialga. I thought it was the black and white legendaries, but maybe I'm mixing them up? I don't freaking know. Either ways, I'll take it. I'm not complaining. We could have been here for a long ass time, but I'll take it. Number 483, Dialga, the temporal Pokemon. Steel Dragon type with a whopping 1,505 illables. Good lord, Dialga, you need to go on a diet, is what I would say if you weren't 7 foot tall and made of steel. A legendary Pokemon Sinnoh is said that the time flows when Dialga's heart beats. Pretty cool Pokemon. I will say, I've always been more of a Dialga guy than the Palkia guy, but you can decide yourself when you see the other one. That said, though, I'm going to be very glad that Dialga didn't take super long to catch, because I was totally ready for the long haul. Or failing a time powerfully bits from this rift. Where does it lead to? How about we jump in and find out? Yeah, no, you can't jump in there. If we did that, I think it would mess with the entire world. I think going into Dialga's time dimension, we might become gods ourselves, but I don't think a 10-year-old kid should become a god. Just me. We might mess things up a little bit. I mean, Cyrus almost did, and he was a grumpy old man. But at least he was an adult, right? That being said, I'm gonna heal the Pokemon real quick because, yeah, that Roar Time definitely killed me in one shot. That thing hurted. That being said, Dialga's been caught. However, as you may assume, the Myth had more than one Pokemon. Leave and come back in. And with the Lustrous Orb in hand, suddenly, there's another. A very pretty looking portal, I will add. And this one I think is kind of funny because saving a lot of data takes a lot of time. Which, you know, Dialga's the god of time. We caught it, so this one's kind of just funny. This one's kind of just funny. I don't mind this one that much. There you go. And with all the time that took to save, now we move on to space. When your team's all set to go, which I think I am, once again, step forward. Check it out. On the other side of the rift is a fantastically bizarre place. It's Palkia. Like, challenge Palkia? You know, the other was, it was kind of a pushover. I think we got this. Gah! And of course, they have the same amazing battlefield. Meet Palkia, the god of space! Looking very pink and lovely today. I will say, I do like Palkia's colors a lot. This thing, it looks pretty cool. What I will say though is that this is one of the Pokemon that got a new sprite going from Pokemon Diamond, Pearl to Platinum. Palkia looked kind of dumb in Diamond and Pearl. I'm really happy they gave it a new sprite that looks a lot more intimidating, because in Diamond and Pearl, it looks kind of dumb. In this game though, it looks a lot more cool. That being said, Palkia here, coming at level 70 like Dialga. Water Dragon type. All around great stats, just like Dialga is an overall stat beast, because once again, it is a legendary Pokemon. And I will say, Water Dragon, I would say Steel Dragon is like one of the best types like ever. Water Dragon's pretty dang close though. Water Dragon is also a fantastic type combo. It makes it only weak to opposing dragons, and that's it. Because there's no fairy type. So pretty good typing. That being said though, just like last time, I'm gonna go in with Gyarados, try to get some damage, as it immediately opens up with a signature move, Spatial Red. A pretty cool looking attack. This thing here is a, I think it's, is that 90 or 100 power? I think it's a 90 power? I actually forget, I'll fact check, but I think it's 90 power, it's a 100 high accuracy, 90 power, high critical hit dragon move, which is overall pretty strong. And I would arguably is better than Roar Time, just because it doesn't have the recharge turret, and it has the high critical hit ratio, which will really hurt when it hits. Maybe Susanoo is intimidating this thing down, so it's not nearly as doing as much damage as it would have with that slash. Some good shit damage in, take it about halfway. This should go to show you the power of the Life Orb, by the way, because we're doing a lot of damage. This thing is like 11 levels higher than me. That being said, though, I think now I'm going to go into... I think I'll go with the Bentley here. Now, I'm not going to hit this thing with an Earthquake, because I actually might count, because Earthquake is very strong, but I am going to hit it with a Seed Bomb here, which I think will be enough to do some good damage, but not KO it. At least I hope. Fair bit of chip damage to me. Go for a Seed Bomb, and hopefully not knock this thing out. Perfect, exactly where we want it. Alright, nice. So that out of the way, now it is time for us to, I guess, chuck some Ultra Balls again, I guess? It's kind of, sort of daytime, apparently, so Dust Ball's not the greatest here. 1, 2, 3, 8, no way. Are you... What? Dude, the first one? It took longer to get here and listen to Cynthia's mythical ranting than to catch these things. Are you serious? I think this is the way of the game apologizes to me for all the heat trend bad luck I had when that took like over an hour, because my god. I'm not complaining, but wow. Anyways, 484 Palkia, it's a spatial Pokemon. Water Dragon type. A lot less heavy than Dialga, but it's not made of pure steel, so that kind of makes sense. A legendary Pokemon Sinnoh. It said that space becomes more stable if Dialga's, I said Dialga. Palkia's every breath. Alright, sounds good. I can't believe we caught in the first one. I'm kind of blown away. Wow. That could have been so much worse, but it just wasn't. Cool. Now, it may seem that our business here is all done. However, there's a bit of lore I want to talk about here that unfortunately, due to limitations of what we had to work with today, we're not going to get to experience ourselves during this playthrough. And that has to do with this thing right here. This tablet here is here for a reason. It stands out too. It has some weird looking line thing going on it. Well, believe it or not, that line thingy is actually a flute. Because back in the day, back in the old days, Uncle Demon's gonna take you to school real quick. There used to be a way to obtain a certain Pokemon known as Arceus. Arceus is the third Pokemon Cynthia was talking about, the higher being that is above the Algar Palkia. Arceus is the god of Pokemon, and that's not a joke. It really is just god. And you can encounter it and catch it in Legends Arceus these days. However, back in the day, this Pokemon was basically exclusive the very, very limited events. And by going to one of these events and obtaining the Azure Flute and completing the Pokedex, you would be able to play the flute right here and unlock a new stairway that would lead you to Arceus' domain right above Spear Pillar, where you could battle God itself. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you this myself in, like, actual real gameplay because the events are long gone. Which is kind of unfortunate, but it'd be how the cookie crumbles. But it didn't feel right not mentioning it since it's a very important thing with Spear Pillar that unfortunately I kind of can't just show you without cheating and, you know, using a RAW, but I'm playing an actual copy of Platinum with a free capture card and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. Something I wanted to mention. There's more to Spear Pillar than what we've seen so far, but unfortunately, in terms of what I can actually show you, that's kind of the stretch of things. That being said, though, our work here got done extremely fast. I cannot believe that we caught it in 1 Pokeball and 2 Pokeballs. That was insane luck. And then I actually had the items here too, and we caught the Pokemon. I should probably talk about these items as well, which I meant to do when I first got them, but I kind of got sidetracked. The Adamant Orb and Lustrous Orbs are items designed specifically for Dialga and Palkia. They boost the power of Dragon and Steel-type moves by 1.3, respectively. Pretty solid items to have with the Pokemon. Just matches with them pretty well. That's Sinnoh before we, you know, get too excited. How about we actually leave this place, and I'm pretty sure I have an escape room somewhere here. Right? Surely I have an escape. Okay, cool. However, I have a bad feeling it's not going to take me to the entrance. It's going to take me back to Spear Pillar. I don't know why. Oh, no, it actually took me out of the... Okay. Phew, I thought for a second that Spear Pillar was going to count as like a separate outside area. It wasn't going to take me back to where we were, but now it took us where we were. Okay, cool. And unfortunately, my poor Susanoo got obliterated both times during that battle, so let's go heal real quick. I can't believe that we caught that both of them in less than 10 minutes. That was kind of crazy. See, Pachirisu, I came back alive! It was a speed run. See, I did all that just to come back to my beloved Pachirisu that I don't actually own, but it's somebody else's. But it's very cute, and I like him regardless. I can't believe that went so smoothly. I guess the game was just giving me good luck after the Heat Train encounter, because that one was a struggle. Literally a struggle. Like, it took itself out. You see what I did there with the pun? That was on purpose. But, yeah, I'm not complaining. I'll take it. And since we're here, we may as well check up on our next 2 legendaries to the list. And as you can see, this PC box is more legendary than normal Pokemon at this point. There's a lot of legendaries to catch in Pokemon Platinum. It's pretty cool, honestly. We got Giratina, Mesprit, Azelf, Yuxi, Heatran, Cresselia, Moltres, Articuno, Zapdos, Rotom, which is debatably legendary. I'm still kind of on the fence about this one. And Dialga and Palkia. And since we're here, we might as well check them out. I love Dialga's cry so much, by the way. I get to talk about it, but I love this thing. It sounds like a... I don't know how to describe it. It just sounds cool. That being said, as you can see, this thing's stats are out of the freaking world. Look at that special attack stat. 232. Good God. With Roar Time, a Hyper Beam clone for Dragon types, Heal Block, and move that prevents HP recovery for 5 turns, Earth Power, just a really reliable special ground type attack, and Slash, which is kind of just a bad move on this thing, I'm not going to lie to you, but it has to have a 4th move, I guess. And finally, Palkia, or Palkia if you're a normal person. Water Dragon, same shtick, and I'm gonna check right now. Okay, it was okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's 100 power, but it's 95 accuracy. That's where I was getting mixed up. Okay, there we go. I will put in post-editing since, you know, it's right here. I can correct myself in the actual game, but there you go. I knew I was forgetting something about the move, but yeah, pretty good move all in all. 100 accuracy, Dragon-type move, can't complain. With a high crit rate too, not bad, not bad, not bad. Overall, pretty cool stuff. That being said, though, they will now remain in the PC box. We have caught gods, and they shall be my trophies, or something like that. I'm a messed up 10-year-old kid, all right? But yeah, with that being said, I was prepared for this episode to be a lot longer because I had no idea how long this was gonna take. I was ready to record this for like an extra 10, 20 minutes, but we kind of wrapped everything up in like 30, so I guess we're kind of just done here for the time being. Feels kind of funny to say that, but yeah. I guess that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We caught Dialga and Palkia. And next time, Pokemon Platinum, I have some ideas of familiar places that have changed that I want to go visit before we go visit the Battle Tower and whatnot. So we'll probably be doing that in the next part. But I can tell you this. We're sort of coming near the end of our post-game expeditions. We caught a lot of legendary Pokemon. We've explored a lot of places. We're not quite done yet, but we're approaching that. So just so you guys know, this series might be coming to an end somewhat soon. Assuming I can have a reliable upload schedule, which I never do. But on the real though, thank y'all for watching as always, hope you enjoyed. And we'll be back, hopefully, pretty soon. See you guys then.